My beloved child, your secret tear has already moved the heavens into action, and what I'm about to unveil will shatter every chain binding your heart. In the next few moments, I will strip away every lie you've believed and ignite the destiny I've prepared for you. Stay with me until the very end, because the final revelation will redefine everything you thought you knew about yourself. Don't look away. You can't afford to miss this life-changing truth. Before those words had even touched your tongue, I sensed them rising from the heaviness in your chest. You assumed you were weeping into nothingness, but you were weeping into endlessness. You believed you were releasing anguish into the shadows, but you were placing it into my hands. I am not some remote onlooker of your torment. I am not a mute spectator. I am the God who inclines his ear whenever you speak, the Father who draws closer the instant your spirit fractures in sincerity. Now I assure you, as surely as the sun unfailingly dawns, the heavens have replied. What seemed like postponement was not refusal, it was preparation, and now the covering is being lifted. You stand on the brink of encountering not only solace but understanding, not merely my caress, but my reality. Understand, there are forces you've been living under, beliefs you have taken on or absorbed, never originating from me. You've acknowledged limits as normal that I never intended. You've allowed gloom to carve your self-image, connections to determine your worth, and quietness to define my heart. Yet this day I come to guide you into a reckoning with truth, not the version of truth molded by dread, scars, or pretense, but the one I authored for you before time grazed your name. You are not whatever the past convinced you to feel. You are not the total of your defeats. You are not a traveler lost in the tempest of unanswered pleas. You belong to me, and I have never ceased pursuing you, not through sorrow, not through disorder, not through the seasons where your senses were dulled to me. I was present, never absent, never inert, but engaged in ways your eyes had not yet grasped. I have been nearer than your breath, closer than thought, more constant than the feeling you believed had overtaken you. And so I'm dispersing the haze. I'm unmasking the deceptive illusions that confined you. I'm unveiling the truth that has forever surrounded you, though concealed from your perception. This marks the start of your meeting with what is authentic, not fabricated, not coerced, not shaped by this realm, but created in the invisible sphere where I abide. The truth of my kingdom is intruding upon your awareness, and once it does, not a single aspect of your existence will remain unaltered. You have been subsisting, adjusting, enduring, but I never formed you just to endure. I shaped you for communion. Communion begins once all facades collapse. I am not seeking the refined version of you. I am beckoning the genuine you, the one below the shields, below the weariness, below the facade. There is no need to counterfeit in my presence. There is no need to conceal your uncertainties, your doubts, your fatigue. Offer it all to me. Expose it. I'm not alarmed by your frailty. I'm drawn to it, not to take advantage, but to mend, not to patch you up forcibly, but to redeem you with tenderness. And I say now, quit diminishing your prayers. Cease rationalizing your suffering. Stop minimizing what you experience for the comfort of others. I did not appoint you to be small. I did not summon you to tread stooped by shame. You have mistaken humility for inconspicuousness. But I see you. I have always seen you, and the hour has arrived for you to see me, not through the filter of tradition or habit, but in the bare, brilliant candor of my spirit. I am not merely the God on the heights. I am the God of the doorway, the God of transitions. I am standing now at your heart's entrance, not knocking but proclaiming, I am here. What I'm about to disclose will not arise from effort. It will not result from merit. It will be birthed in surrender. Cast aside your burdens. Remove your disguises. Renounce the worry that if you are utterly exposed, you will be utterly discarded. I already perceive you in every facet, each past event, each complexity, and still, I choose you, not the improved self, not the later version. You, right now, in this very state. You are no failed experiment I'm waiting to rectify. You are a container I am quickening. There exist chambers within your being that have remained locked for ages, corners you barricaded to shield yourself. Yet I'm softly turning the handle, walking into those recollections, into those beliefs, into those hidden corners where your most urgent questions still reverberate. I will not come in as a judge, I will come as a physician. I will tread through the debris, not with condemnation, but with flames in my eyes, because nothing concealed can restrain you anymore. I am exposing what once subdued you, not to lay you bare, but to release you. This is the juncture you have longed for, not a fleeting solace, but a metamorphosis of your sight. And I now proclaim, child, step into the unveiling, step into the truth I originally destined you to witness. No more gloom, no more untruths, no more cowering for survival. You were crafted to stand, to glow, to mirror my majesty. That majesty begins with this: one audacious, unwavering yes. Say yes to truth, say yes to progress, say yes to perceiving what has always been tangible beneath everything. When I present your genuine essence, when I peel back the curtain and allow you to see what's been orchestrated behind it all, you will sob, not in grief, but in amazement. I have gone ahead of you. I have led the way, and I'm summoning you into complete recognition. This is your meeting with the truth that was never altered. It only lingered. I am not merely the God who hears. I am the God who acts. And on this day, heaven returns an answer to your plea. Get ready to observe differently. Get ready to move differently. This is the dawn. Daughter, you have questioned repeatedly how I actually view you. In quiet moments, when life pauses and no one is watching, you have gently asked, do you notice me as I am, or only as I should be? You've wrestled with the dread that if I truly saw you, if I looked beyond what you present, beyond the armor of strength you wear, I would leave. But heed my words. I behold you fully. I have always beheld you, not through the warped prism of your anxieties, not by the assessments of others, not through the echo of your inner skeptic. I see you through the perspective of the one who molded you, through the lens of love, reality, and eternity. I see you in the way I intended from the start, integral, shining, consecrated, cherished. You've been carrying a burden I never asked you to pick up. You've attempted to be strong for everyone, to keep everything intact, to be adequate for every request. But I never tasked you to fill every need. I instructed you to belong to me. You are not measured by your output. Your importance is not determined by how perfectly you perform. You are not treasured because you managed to hold it all together. You are treasured because I sculpted you in love, and I will never withdraw that love. Even in your most delicate points, even when you feel like the echo of yourself, I remain steadfast in my devotion. You do not strive for my closeness. You exist in it. Allow me to speak plainly to your inner being. I do not feel let down by you. Disappointment implies I anticipated something else and was astonished by the result. But I perceived the finale from the origin. I understood your entire path before you exhaled your first breath. I knew precisely when you would triumph and where you would stagger. I foresaw the times when your fervor would blaze and the eras in which a simple spark appeared impossible. I have not observed you with folded arms. I have journeyed alongside you, supporting you when you felt me least, whispering to your spirit when your heart was too drained to discern. I have been investing in you from the beginning, safeguarding the essence in you, even when the tumult tried to classify you with deceit. You are not behind. You are not excessive. You are not abandoned, and you are not solitary. I witness how you have struggled to hold on to belief again. I observe how you've persisted in prayer, even when no responses seemed forthcoming. I see how you gripped hope, not because you felt resolute, but because something inside you, something deeper than agony, refused to quit. That element is me. I deposited that endurance within you. I placed that faint faith that persisted even under the barrage of fear. You wondered if I still noticed you. You mourned inwardly, unsure if I still care. And here is my reply. Yes. Emphatically, completely, timelessly, yes. Now I ask you not to remedy yourself, not to labor for acceptance, but to draw near, to linger with me in stillness, to give me your truest self, the portion still perplexed, still hurting, still doubtful. I yearn for all of it, not because I'm seeking perfection, but because I desire union. I long for intimacy, for the chance to speak life into the spots you deem too knotted for repair. You needn't find the perfect phrases, you need only to show up. My presence is not reserved for the capable or the flawless. It's intended for the sincere, the drained, for you. You've been asking me how I feel about you, so let me repeat it, unequivocally. I find pleasure in you, not in what you accomplish for me, but in who you are to me. I exult over you, even at this moment. I beam at the echo of your voice. When you arise at dawn feeling unmerited, I am already there, waiting to assure you that my affection is not tied to your ability. It is anchored in my assurance, and my assurance stands firm. My pronouncement never fluctuates, and my decree over you is this: you are mine, profoundly, irreversibly, eternally mine. I call you to retreat, not idleness, not resignation, but genuine rest, the sort that dawns from trusting you needn't replace me, the kind that removes the onus of self-reparation, the type that acknowledges grace is not an abstract theory but a regular experience. Enter into rest in me. Stop quantifying your growth by people's reactions. Stop doubting your significance based on how intensely you sense it. Rest, knowing my eyes remain upon you and they radiate empathy, never reproach. I also gently direct your focus toward your self-perception. The words you use about your thoughts, your body, your soul, they carry influence. You've recited statements inside your mind that did not originate from me. You have gazed upon your reflection and accepted utterances that were never mine. But I am rewiring that interior monologue. I am retraining your spirit to speak truth. I call you lovely, not as a flattering remark, but as an absolute that has always existed in design. I call you able, not because you own every solution, but because I am your might. I call you deserving, not because you merited it, but because I picked you, and my choice endures. Walk with me now into a period of deeper harmony, not spurred by tension, but by serenity. You needn't raise your voice to gain my audience. Simply inhale. Let your soul recall that I am not out there, aloof and withholding. I'm right here, dwelling within, speaking even in your wordlessness. Come, converse with me, not for formality, but to rediscover reality. My voice remains gentle, my grip is firm, my heart is reachable, and I am waiting. There's no cause to feign any longer. You needn't shoulder it all alone. I am here, daughter, and I'm not departing. Abide with me, have confidence in me, and allow me to be the one who introduces you again to who you truly are in my sight. Son, I comprehend the burden you bear, beyond your body and your mind, within the depth where wounds hide beneath quiet, where dashed hopes set up barriers, where grief becomes a familiar companion. You have journeyed through ravines no one genuinely witnessed, withstood hours you scarcely spoke of, and endured interludes wherein my presence felt absent, but I was never away. I was there in the hurt, there in the inquiries, there through the silent stretch when your soul yearned for a ray, anything resembling relief. Though you may not comprehend just yet why events unfolded in that manner, I invite you to behold the vantage of my eyes, to discern the intent in your agony. Not that your injury deserves praise, but so it can be redeemed. This harm didn't emanate from me, but I let it pass. Not because I delight in your torment, but because I knew what it would quicken within you. You pleaded for depth. You aspired to know me in untrodden dimensions. You craved a faith that could not be jarred, a heart keen enough to identify truth within any tempest. And I was aware of what that would entail. Beyond mere lecturing, genuine transformation. And refinement seldom blossoms in comfort. It emerges when each false pillar is stripped away when the trusted voices turn silent, and you must confront yourself, discovering that even in the void of certainty, I remain there. Pain is not a penalty, it is a threshold. Through that threshold, I led you, not randomly, but carefully. You learned how to detect my nearness in the night. You learned that my voice isn't seasonal, but consistently shepherding. You learned that as soon as your own strength expired, mine ignited. And although the breakage felt disloyal, it was the resolution to a loftier petition, the call of your heart yearning to be made entire. I did not cause your hurt, but I vowed not to squander it. Every tear shed was caught by me. Each evening you collapsed, I hovered by you. Each time you cried, "God, I can't do this anymore," I responded, "But I will sustain you." I know the heartbreak that lingers. I know the sense of betrayal that made you wonder if you hold any worth. I know the delay that convinced you were overlooked. Yet, son, the delay wasn't rejection. It was shielding. Some wishes you held would have momentarily addressed your desire to be affirmed, but would have undermined your true identity. There were routes you considered, mistaken for blessings, that would have drawn you away from my heart. I saw beyond your vision. While you lamented over what never came to pass, I was celebrating what never had the power to ruin you. You think of pain as what vanished. I see it as what was peeled away, revealed, and refined. You imagine the wilderness took your years. I declare it gave you roots. You have to discern there are two varieties of pain: pain that injures and pain that awakens. The struggle you underwent startled you awake, stirring your soul, unearthing the deceptions that quietly spread over the years. Fallacies concerning your worth, your true self, the extent of your belovedness. When you lamented, "Why was this done to me?" I heard the deeper cry, "Who have I become?" My response is unwavering. You remain mine, not reduced, not broken, but deeper, wiser, sturdier. Not because you avoided pain, but because you pressed through it with me. I allowed the force because I recognized the gold within you, and gold is uncovered by flames, not by ease. But hear me now. You were never meant to stay in pain. I'm not the God who settles you in the valley. I am the God who ushers you out of it. And now you emerge, not empty-handed. You emerge armed with dominion, with empathy for others' tribulations, with eyes that perceive differently, with ears that can hear my voice even in quiet, and a heart that will never again bow to fear. The same forces that attempted to shatter you are the ones I'm using as building blocks in your life. Even my son endured a night of tremendous sorrow. Even he pleaded for another way, yet he trusted me. From his wounds came redemption for all. Do you understand? I do not discard torment. I use it to kindle rebirth. That is exactly what I'm bringing about within you. You are not being buried, you are being sown. And seeds planted in tears will grow in splendor. I will forge beauty from your ashes, vigor from your frailty, and gladness out of your mourning. But first, it was essential that you recognize the wound wasn't a finality. It was a doorway. I have observed how you tried managing it all alone, how you kept your chin up while your soul quietly spilled, how you kept showing up for everyone else, but silently asked if anyone would ever stand up for you. I saw it. I felt it. I am not upset at the methods you employed to cope. I commend you for enduring. Yet now I tell you, you no longer need to endure. You can recuperate now. You can inhale freely now. You can lower your guard. You're secure in my hold. Let me address your hurt not as a detached deity, but as the one who accompanied you through each occurrence. I was there when the root closed, there when betrayal happened, there when your physique betrayed you, there when the outcome never arrived. My stillness was not from apathy, but because I was operating profoundly, methodically, powerfully. Now that work is bearing fruit. Now that wound is transforming into a testimony. Now that valley is turning into a channel for my radiance. You will no longer carry the same heaviness. I am taking it away. I am bringing wholeness, not just to your recollections, but to your interpretation. Where once you were defined by weakness, you will now proclaim your strength. Where once a voice whispered that you had failed, it will now announce devotion. This isn't the conclusion of your narrative. It's the sequence where agony evolves into might. So come closer, son. Discard your walls, discard your filters. Come unguarded, come earnest, come even empty if needed. I remain here, and I am sufficient. From this wound, I will cultivate a life more complete than you ever envisioned. My child, now that the heaviness has receded and the shroud is torn, you stand poised to receive not just consoling words, but proclamations of what is transpiring in the spiritual sphere. You have persisted in faith, you have shed tears in quiet, you remained in that realm between sorrow and expectation. And for that reason, I speak to you now with unwavering conviction. The heavens have stirred. I am not merely comforting you, I am intervening. I am not just imparting my words, I am bringing them to fruition. This is no preamble to a period of waiting. It is the dawn of visible outcomes. You asked me, is anything truly shifting? And I answer yes, not merely externally, but also deep within, beneath and through you. The ground of your life, once so barren, is responding to my voice. Whatever seemed lost to darkness is awakening. Whatever was deemed unattainable is returning. The spiritual atmosphere around you is undergoing transformation, though your senses might still be adjusting. Do not be disheartened by your eyes' limited view. Listen instead to what your soul already knows, that I am steadfast, I am near, I am accomplishing exactly what I pledged. You have never been dismissed, you were never neglected. I did not suspend my work out of disregard. I bided my time with exactness. Some prerequisites needed to be prepared, not just around you but inside you, before I could entrust you with what is now set in motion. You traversed the fire, and it scalded you, but it did not consume you. Instead, it honed you. You were put on trial, and though you quivered, you never went under. You held on, not with flawless might, but with enduring surrender. Your surrender reached my dwelling like sweet incense. Your trust unlocked doors you have yet to see, but you inevitably will. Attend now, child, to the indicators. I am not solely the God hidden from sight. I confirm my pronouncements as well. The ambient air around you carries delicate markers of my advance. You will discover calm where anxiety once presided. You'll encounter support unexpectedly. A word from a stranger, a seemingly choreographed moment, a timing beyond your own arrangement. These are not happenstance, they signify. I send signals in dreams, through scripture, in dialogue, even in the interlude of interruptions. Don't disregard them. They offer a glimpse of what my hand is forming in secret. You will also perceive transformation in your relationships. I am reorganizing those near you. Individuals who once dragged you in reverse will fade away, while those aligned with your calling will be drawn near. This will not happen by your own push, but by my spirit. You needn't chase what I have readied for you. Simply remain by my side. I am establishing divine associations with those who hold the next phase of your mission, those who uplift you without requiring you to shrink. These are not digressions, they are orchestrations. My assurances aren't hollow echoes. They are living truths awaiting their appointed time to break into your timeline. And I tell you that time has come for some of those promises. Do not be amazed when openings appear where there were none. Do not question whether you deserve it when resources arrive sooner than imagined. It is not mere fortune. It is not random chance. It is the recompense of your submission. I've seen what you set aside. I've seen what you surrendered. I've witnessed how you remained firm when turning away might have been simpler. Now I release what had been held in reserve until you were receptive. Even now, I am breathing new life into vows you relegated to the past. There are dreams you tucked away, believing their moment had slipped, but I dwell beyond time's constraints. What felt late is perfect in my hands. I'm breathing new vitality into visions you buried. You'll feel that stirring again. The ardor you believed was extinguished. Do not stifle it. Let it blossom. That was me who first planted it, and I kept it concealed, not as a torment, but to shield what was unready until this moment. Keep watch, too, for shifts internally. Your appetites will transform. You'll experience a holy unrest for what once gratified you. You'll yearn for deeper significance. You'll sense when it's time to move, to speak, to act, and it will be birthed in calm, not compulsion. That tranquility will guide you. Heed it. Don't attempt to decipher every detail in advance. Respond as you proceed. I will clarify each step as you take it. My voice will be distinct. My spirit will direct you exactly. Additionally, this is an interval of renewal, not only of purpose, but of joy. I am restoring your ability to aspire without dread, to expect without restraint, to love without shielding your heart. You have been existing in survival mode far too long. Now I usher you into abundance, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and yes, also materially. You will look about and recognize growth where only dust once lay. You will rise and feel anticipation again. You will recall what it is to be purely alive, not because life is flawless, but because your spirit vibrates with mine. So record this, keep these words close. Let them tether you. Though the season is shifting, an adversary will still attempt to whisper doubt, but you will know differently. You'll see the signs, recall the pledge, sense my spirit's confirmation, and declare, "He told me this was coming." And you will stand unmoved because my declaration never returns void. My scheduling is immaculate, and my blueprint for you is not scarcity. It surpasses your most audacious request. Child, the heavens have answered. The sealed places are opening. What was invisible is coming into view, and you will walk in it with unclouded vision, alert in spirit, and a heart that is fully mine. My child, you have heard my vows, detected the transition, and been stirred within your spirit. Now I call you to do something, not by force, but in agreement. Faith is not a theoretical emotion or a momentary rush. It is a stance, a route, a regimen. It's the choice you make when your senses lie still, but your doubts are clamoring. It's the choice to walk as though I have already fulfilled my word before any visible proof. What I am unfolding now in your life cannot remain aloft on passive acquiescence. It demands an active yielding. Hence, let me clarify how faith is actualized in the mundane. First, each day begins with a focus on me. Before you look at your phone, your schedule, your tasks, look for me. Approach me with a straightforward appeal, even a hushed request. Lord, steer my steps today. That measure of willingness establishes your entire day's atmosphere. You needn't open in flawless devotion. Begin with mindfulness. Welcome me into the dawn, and you will find me accompanying you through midday. One mindful breath with me outweighs 1,000 hurried strides. Devote time to Scripture, not simply to fulfill a duty, but to gain sustenance. Don't scan the words like an errand. Read to embrace me. Let my statements resonate in your thoughts. Let my veracity become your baseline. You've spent years molded by perceptions, guesses, and worries. Now I am reshaping you with truth. You needn't digest entire chapters in a single sitting. You can take a single passage and ask me to speak through it. Linger, reflect, remain. I will. I am never silent, but you must decelerate to truly listen. Adopt a mindset of listening. Faith isn't solely you talking to me. It is also comprehending my voice. My guidance may not often roar like thunder. It might emerge as a slight prodding, a notion cloaked in tranquility, a phrase clinging to your mind. Refrain from racing past those nudges. Coach yourself to notice. Raise questions. Practice stillness without needing instant replies. You will be astonished by the clarity you gain when you allow me time to respond. Safeguard your environment. What you let in, music, voices, discussions, nourishes or drains your spirit. Faith flourishes amid my presence, not under duress. Turn down the world's blare. Be selective about which inputs shape your perspective. The broadcasts you follow, the dialogues you partake in, the media you consume. I'm not instructing you to detach from everyone, but to remain vigilant. Recognize when something saps your spirit or disrupts your focus. Safeguard your equilibrium. Not everyone or everything merits your awareness. What you feed will flourish. Feed your faith. Be mindful in your speech. Life or demise may rest on the tongue, not out of superstition, but because I endowed words with creative capacity. Quit talking as though your tomorrow is murky. Proclaim what I have already affirmed. Speak optimism when fear attempts to gain a foothold. Bless your day aloud. Bless your kin, your labors. Profess that I stand with you, even if your emotions say the opposite. When you echo what I've spoken, you collaborate with heaven, and heaven manifests through your agreement. Honor your physical body. I formed it to serve as a shrine, not a tool. Take breaks if you require them. Choose what energizes you. Move to let tension pass. Your prayer life isn't the only spiritual practice. Tending to what I entrusted you is spiritual too. You cannot deplete yourself and still hope for constant revelation. Make space for delight, for intervals of calm, for respite. This is sacred, not slothful. Having faith that I can do more with your compliance than you can with your weariness is a significant step. Embrace forgiveness, perhaps the most challenging yet the clearest sign of mature faith. Clinging to resentment produces spiritual dissonance, muddles your perception, and infects your peace. I don't ask you to brush aside the wound. I request you release it. Let go of the obligation people owe you, not because they have earned your mercy, but because you merit release. Letting go sets you free, reflecting my character in the process. And that resemblance dissolves chains, not only for you, but for others in your orbit. Give. Faith displays itself as generosity, not strictly with finances, but with your time, your regard, your compassion. Give even when it's inconvenient. Give even when logic opposes it. Not from a place of guilt, but from overflowing abundance. I have not fashioned you to be a pool. I meant for you to be a channel, allowing blessings to flow. As you offer, I will replenish. As you deliver, I will refill. You cannot surpass me in giving. Comply with the minor promptings. Faith is rarely about grand leaps. Often, it's the soft yes in your regular routine. If you feel me nudging you to call someone, obey. If you feel compelled to pray, do it. If I tell you to relinquish something you've clung to, let go. These subtle acts of obedience chart the direction of your life more than you recognize. Faith doesn't always manifest in big leaps. Typically, it's revealed in each step. Live with anticipation, not tension, not the need to manage everything, but expectation. Believe I am at work, even unseen. Celebrate small triumphs. Be aware of your progress. Document my actions. The prayers I've answered, the times I've whispered. These remembrances will anchor you in the forthcoming storms. And storms are inevitable, but next time you won't waver because your faith isn't built on changing conditions, but on the one who never changes. This is how faith becomes your lifestyle. Steady, patient, brave. You needn't dazzle me. You needn't prove your devotion. You need only to walk beside me, step after step, day after day, moment after moment. I'm not distant. I'm here, desiring to walk with you uninterrupted. This is the existence of a believing child, grounded in truth, steered by calm, propelled by love, and nourished by my nearness. This is your present identity. My beloved, I have seen you dwell under your rightful portion for far too long. You have opted to persist when I called you to live as a true child. You spoke beliefs over yourself that never came from my mouth. You permitted events to define your significance, and heartbreaks to rename you. Yet this day, I don't just remind you of who you are. I come to return you to your primal design. Not the image you attempted to sculpt, not the version shaped by trauma or achievement, but the original, fashioned in affection, brimming with destiny, adorned in radiance. You are not your misfortune. You are not your mistakes. You are not your wrongdoing. You are not your past. You are not your turmoil. When I consider you, I do not see a flawed creature trying to improve. I see my child, set free, chosen, provided for, and appointed. You confused your circumstances with your identity because the storms lasted so long you assumed the gloom was ingrained. But the storm was never your identity. The anguish was never your ultimate reality. The quiet was never your brand. You have contended with insecurity and an unceasing urge to earn your validation. You strove to obtain love by success. You awaited acceptance, attention, selection. Yet I picked you before anyone had the power to refuse you. I cherished you before you attempted your first demonstration. I set my eyes on you, and not once have I averted my gaze. When you wavered in your worth, I whispered my truth. When you spoke negativity over yourself, I spoke favor, and I never ceased. Let me say it plainly, you are not unlovable. You are not excessive. You are not overlooked. You are not unseen. You're not behind schedule. You occupy precisely the moment I knew you would. And your path doesn't take me by surprise. I take pride in how you remained open-hearted when you could have retreated. I see how you worked to mend while supporting others. I see how you hoarded sorrow in silence so as not to burden others with your own. But you needn't tote that anymore. I'm not asking for your strength. I'm asking for your honesty. Because in honesty, I pour out healing. And in healing, I restore the essence of who you are. You are not an outcast, not a stranger, not disqualified. You are mine, entirely, fully, eternally mine. The cross wasn't a blanket invitation. It was a deliberate rescue. When my son surrendered himself, he envisaged your face. He murmured your name. He counted every day you'd live. He opened a pathway for you to walk as royalty, not as a pauper pleading for what already belongs to you. I placed power inside you. You felt reluctant to assert yourself, afraid of how others might misconstrue. You stayed in the background so nobody would take offense. However, I did not give you a spirit of timidity. I granted you a spirit of might, affection, and soundness of mind. You no longer must retreat, no longer must vanish, no longer conform to surroundings that neglect my truths. You influence surroundings. That's what identity does. It bears authority. You merit a love that persists, not because of anything you bring, but because of who you are. You merit reprieve, not because you've completed all tasks, but because you belong to me. You merit hope, not because you performed flawlessly, but because hope is your legacy. End the process of disqualifying yourself. Stop repeating the lies once branded upon you. You are not the collection of their words. You're the embodiment of my proclamation. And my declaration is very good. I am mending your recollection, not by erasing the story, but by cutting off its power to label you. It truly hurt. I don't trivialize that. Yet it will no longer confine you. The tags derived from your wound, insufficient, beyond repair, undeserving, neglected, are being stripped away. They were never mine to begin with, and I shall train you to speak anew, to affirm your true self even if it sounds strange initially. Because truth doesn't always feel customary from the start, but it remains correct. Speak it with me. I'm selected. I'm spotless. I'm intact. I'm welcomed. I'm not what I committed. I'm not what happened to me. I'm a son or daughter of God. Each time you declare this, those ancient falsehoods lose momentum. Each time you stand in that truth, your posture straightens. This isn't make-believe. This is your real status. The relief you sense, it's more than comfort, it's renewal. I'm guiding you back to the pristine design, not the distorted variant given to you by the world, but the divine mold I envisioned before creation. You will start feeling its influence in your decisions. You'll no longer settle for connections that diminish your purpose. You'll reject what you once accepted. You'll walk tall in places you once shrank. That's restoration. That's identity. The yield of being recognized, comprehended, and adored. I call you my own, and my voice resounds louder than disgrace, my presence deeper than your terrors, my devotion mightier than your rejection. Permit that truth to envelop you, to anchor you, to guide you forward, not as the version you attempted to be, but as who I made you. Complete, renewed, aglow. Child, since you recall who you are and I've reminded you of your identity, removing the lies clinging to you so persistently, it's time to demonstrate living in this reality. You were never intended to survive on just fleeting divine moments. I intend to show you how to keep the fire alight, not only feel its warmth. Encounters serve as launching points, but fellowship sustains. Thus, I provide now a guideline, not to demand perfection, but to establish a pace, a blessed cadence to help you remain in me, not merely visit. I'm not after transient interactions. I'm constructing a shared existence. Commence with prayer, not as a box to tick, but as your place of grounding. Think of prayer not as display, but as presence. It's not just the words you utter, but the space you create. Make room for me at dawn, be it 5 minutes. Let those minutes ring with authenticity. Speak from where you stand, not from who you imagine yourself to be. I already perceive your thoughts. I seek your trust. Greet each morning by affirming me. Father, this day is yours. Accompany me. Speak to me. Lead me. You might not get an outpouring of emotion, but you'll feel a shift because anything you surrender to me, I fill. You needn't contrive grand speeches. I respond not to a flawless script, but to genuine presence. Let prayer be unceasing, not locked into a fixed slot. Converse with me while driving, strolling, or doing ordinary chores. Invite me into your thoughts, then pause to hear. Prayer isn't solely about speaking, it's about stillness, about discerning my direction in the hush, in repetitive motion, in gentle impulses that are subtle yet profound. When you cease expecting cataclysmic revelations and start tuning into my consistent whisper, you will realize I speak in places you never imagined I would. Second, cultivate the realm of your thoughts. Your mindset sets your tone. You can't fill your hours with clamor and anticipate clearly hearing my voice. You don't have to block out every influence in order to be with me, but you do have to filter them. Be deliberate about what you let in. Music, conversations, messages. Avoid saturating yourself with fear-laden information, then wonder why anxiety dominates. You nurture whatever you feed. Feed your faith, guard your spirit. It doesn't require total isolation, but consistent wisdom. Some material may be allowable but not advantageous. If it steers your focus away from me, it isn't benign, it's a hindrance. Third, delve into my word, not purely for mental acumen but for internal change. Many grow weary here, reading from obligation and forgetting that Scripture is alive. It's me communicating. It's no mere reference text. It's a mirror, a blade, a beacon. Approach it expecting to hear my voice. Pray, Lord, reveal your truth here, and I certainly will. Don't speed read. Let the words settle. Reflect, question, record what resonates. Even a solitary verse, taken in faith, can redirect your day. You don't have to digest it all instantly. Insight matures over time. Begin in the Gospels to encounter my Son. Turn to the Psalms for solace. Seek out Proverbs for discernment. Allow my Spirit to lead. Note any scripture that resonates, revisit them. Those lines will become anchors in storms, seeds in parched seasons, and solutions in your searches. Fourth, proceed in obedience, especially in everyday details. Faith isn't merely intellectual acceptance, it's responding in action. When I prompt you to show mercy, do so. When I quietly suggest you pause, listen. When I direct you to pardon someone, follow through. Don't put off obedience until you have perfect clarity. It's the obedience that brings understanding. You won't always feel prepared, but I equip those who answer my call. Stop waiting to feel worthy. I validate you through your yes. Even a seemingly minor act of obedience can unfurl significant blessings. Fifth, designate sacred rest. That's right, rest. Not solely sleep, but Sabbath, a cycle that steps away from constant doing and restores being. You were not created to churn endlessly. I, the maker of everything, pause to rest. Rest is an act of reliance. When you cease, you declare, I believe you keep working while I'm still. Reserve time weekly for detachment, not just from chores, but from stress. Open your heart in those pauses. Breathe, meander, think, worship. Don't wait until fatigue overwhelms you. Embed rest into your routine to avoid collapse. Sixth, foster community. You were never designed to grow by yourself. Your maturity was designed to happen in connection with me and with others. Seek those who awaken your spirit, not just your convenience. Surround yourself with individuals who will direct you back to my voice when you lose track of it. Be candid, be open, let yourself be discovered. True spiritual unity is not merely visiting a building, it's walking in unison with people whose hearts resonate with mine. 7th, serve, not out of guilt, but from your purpose. Locate opportunities to deliver what I've instilled in you. Someone out there needs exactly what I've placed within you. You don't need a crowd to be of service, you just need readiness. Offer assistance at home, share hope with your friends, pray over strangers. Stay attuned to possibilities. Your hands were intended to bring healing, your speech to bear anointing. When you speak kindly and love, watch how I use it in the normal moments. Once you pour out, I'll pour back in. Lastly, walk in humility. Let me correct you when it's essential. Let me prune the unneeded. Don't resist development just because it feels alien. I refine you because I see your destiny. I prune you because I see your potential fruitfulness. Trust me in my challenges. Obedience might cost you some comfort, but it will never forfeit my presence. And what you gain by following my steps always outweighs what you relinquish. That is how you accompany me, through rhythm, not force. These instructions aren't shackles, they bring liberty. This is the scaffold for a life grounded in truth, steadied by mercy, and inundated by my presence. Let them shape your routines, guide your decisions, and mold your innermost being. My child, everything I have revealed so far wasn't just to momentarily stir you, but to eternally equip you. Your endurance was not for the sake of mere survival, it was for reaching the destination. Now, I declare to you plainly, it begins. The turning point is not on the horizon. It is unfolding under your feet, within each space you enter, in the spiritual climate encircling you, and most emphatically, in your heart. What I murmured in those private stretches is now echoing strongly in the spiritual realm, and all that surrounds you must acknowledge what I have proclaimed upon your life. You sensed the unrest, the internal prompting that something was drawing near, though you lacked the details of when or how. I am revealing that it has already started. The fracturing, the pressing, the silent years, these were not dead ends, but birth canals. Now, you move into the radiance of fulfillment. It's not just answers to prayer, it's the realization of identity. The shift I'm setting in motion is not superficial. I'm establishing you in such perfect alignment that even the simplest motions, your breath, your stride, your tone, will reflect the reality I have placed within. Here is my declaration over you right now. You are entering a realm of divine recognition. Where you once remained unnoticed, you'll now be invited into prominence. Not because you craved attention, but because you stayed devoted in obscurity. I am bringing your name forth in arenas you never even knew existed. I am highlighting you in souls you've yet to encounter. I am arranging appointments that will unlock doors previously inaccessible. People might ask, where did this person appear from? And the answer won't be your background or your affiliations. It will be that the Lord took note of you. This time includes swift openings. What others require years to fulfill will speed up in your life, not because you exceed them, but because you are in sync with me. I am reclaiming squandered time, restoring your pace, recouping the intervals stolen by chaos, by alarm, by abandonment. What you considered irretrievable, I'm not just reinstating, I'm multiplying. Gateways will manifest rapidly, and you must not linger when I instruct you to go. Your past self will attempt to question it. Your old story will try to haggle with it, but do not hesitate. I've made you ready. You are not a fake. You are my selection. You'll see a change in connections. Do not grieve those I remove. I am cutting ties that would contaminate my structure. Trust me when I ask you to let go of what's recognizable but consumes your faith. Though you may feel the pruning as loss, it's truly my safeguarding. I am also sending fresh individuals into your path, bonds rooted in covenant, not comfort. You will identify them by the tranquility they bring. Your spirit will find rest in their words. These are not deviations, they're reinforcements. Regarding your resources, expect extraordinary provision. I'm breathing on your ideas, blessing your diligence, providing in ways beyond your imagination, through routes you never would have foreseen. The shift isn't only spiritual, it's also tangible. I'm removing burdens that made joy seem far away. Your hardship was never a reprimand, it was a setup. Now I grant you the harvest. Accept it without shame. Embrace what I supply and remember, it's not exclusively for you. Whatever I pour into your hands will also flow from them. You will be a wellspring of might, of insight, of supply to others. You've progressed from survival to surplus. Also, I'm igniting a flame in your voice. You felt words forming deep in your heart, words you couldn't articulate. That's because they have been refined by fire. I prepared your voice for greater impact, and now those words will not only reverberate in conversations but shift entire atmospheres. They will carry spiritual influence, not sheer volume. Such influence flows from your personal journey with me. You didn't master it academically, you lived it. Now I will wield it through you. Do not be amazed that what once intimidated you no longer exerts force. Your fears are shrinking, not because they vanish, but because your spirit has outgrown them. You will step into former places and feel only peace. That is deliverance, growth, transformation. It is permanent. This shift is not a fleeting spiritual high. It is a crossing between what was and what is, an irreversible boundary. What I have redeemed, I preserve. You are entering a phase of distinctive boldness, not vanity, not self-endorsement, but a sanctified courage anchored in identity. You will cease apologizing for your being. You'll stop doubting your spiritual insights. You'll refuse to dilute the truth you carry for the comfort of others. You now recognize who you truly are, and more crucially, who I am within you. Pay attention in the coming weeks. Notice the small signals, visions, interruptions that feel like detours but hold divine weight, invitations that seem accidental but contain an everlasting mission. I'm not simply readjusting your time frame, I'm shifting your vantage point. Where you used to be on the outside, you will now be seated at the table without needing to force entry. I am the one opening that door. I am the one saying, they belong here. Now heed me, do not draw back, do not stall, do not claim another time. This is your season. This is the very chapter I composed for you before you were even born. Everything in you that once sabotaged your destiny, fear, guilt, hesitation, insecurity, has to relent. My voice is louder. My spirit is stronger. My touch is already evident. You are no longer waiting. You are advancing. Child, the transformation won't be complete unless you absorb this final part. Everything I have revealed, every promise, every intention, every plan, guides you to this moment, a more intimate encounter with my spirit. I haven't invited you to just briefly experience my presence. I want you to be a sanctuary where my spirit dwells. Now, I desire to move you past knowledge into abiding. What I seek isn't a short-lived emotional buzz, but a surrender that rewires your nature. You've perceived me, felt me during worship, in prayer, in quiet, but now I want to lead you further. I want you utterly immersed, fully, utterly, permanently in my spirit. Not just for fleeting sensations or spiritual highs, but so that your entire mindset, your feelings, your voice, and your every move are revolutionized. This isn't about religious display. It's about a holy blending. You in me, and I in you. My spirit is not just near you, but within you, streaming from the deepest well of your being, altering the atmosphere wherever you tread. The Holy Spirit isn't an add-on to your faith. He is the power beneath it. He's not a thrill you chase. He's the person you embrace. He's not merely comfort during your sadness. He is also the blaze that eradicates your dread, the wind pushing your purpose, the voice that reveals truth, the might that uplifts you from frailty. You weren't meant to shoulder your calling alone. You weren't meant to progress in your own strength. That is why I sent him. My spirit is my offering to you, my essence within you, my breath, my knowledge, my might, alive in your own body now. I need you to pause, to inhale, to whisper, trembling if need be, Holy Spirit, be welcome. That gentle admission changes all because he never barges in. He awaits your consent. Once the door is opened, he saturates not just the praiseworthy aspects, but also those concealed spaces. He steps into your sorrow, your trauma, your unresolved dilemmas. He does not recoil from your suffering or flee when you falter. He remains. And when he remains, restoration unfolds. You tried to mend everything from the outside, but true renewal begins internally. My spirit doesn't cleanse you so he can dwell in you. He inhabits you so he can cleanse you. He'll begin surfacing some things, not to disgrace you, but to liberate you. You'll discern old cycles fracturing, perspectives changing, cravings realigning. That isn't burden, it is presence. My spirit is reorganizing your responses, reviving your innocence, rekindling your delight. He is breathing resurrection into areas you abandoned, closed off, labeled irreparably damaged. He sees them and is breathing fresh life upon them. You'll detect shifts, not always like fire, but like profound peace, a firm tranquility. You'll sense lightness, though your circumstances remain the same. You'll be drawn toward what fosters your spirit and disturbed by what used to numb you. That's how you know he's active. Conversion isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the serene opposition to who you used to be, the measured refusal to go back to your old captivity, that calm, gentle voice. You don't reside there now. Clarifying further, the Holy Spirit never arrives to dominate you. He comes to empower you. You will retain choice, but now you'll possess clarity. You'll notice slight urges to wait, to speak, to pause, to move, to desist. Obey them. Trust them. They're not coincidences, they're me. You'll sense them during temptation, fear, indecision, or restlessness. My spirit is your guiding star. Let him lead. As you yield, your assurance will flourish, not in yourself, but in the one living in you. You will also discover a newfound bravery surfacing, not a raucous display or arrogance, but a humble boldness to be precisely who I designed you to be, to speak when you used to shrink back, to advance where you used to withdraw, to take steps even as fear tries to hold you. That's my spirit. He won't tolerate you playing small when I've ignited you with purpose. He is the flame, and he doesn't just soothe you. He burns away what doesn't belong and ignites what was always meant to shine. Now hear me, he will also educate you. Texts you've gone over many times will suddenly burst with meaning. My sayings will echo in your mind until they settle into your very thought process. You'll be thrown into situations where you feel you have no words, and then the speech emerges. That's him. You'll sense the validity of something even without any explanation. That's him. He is the spirit of wisdom, of truth, and of revelation. He instructs, not with demands, but with patience. Remain close, and you will cultivate a spiritual perceptiveness that is not bizarre, but effective, anchored in my kingdom. Yes, he intercedes through you when you lack the right words, when emotion clouds your perspective, when your spirit aches without explanation. He will groan alongside you, pleading on your behalf. Even if your mouth produces no sound, your heart will be communicating. There may be moments in worship or solitude where you can do nothing but weep. That is healing, a breaking, a purging. You might be abruptly engulfed by elation on an ordinary afternoon. That's him, saturating, reassuring, loving. Welcome him, child. Don't turn it into a puzzle. Don't resist. Don't wait to feel deserving. Simply say yes. Each day, say yes again. Offer him the space. Let him be the environment you dwell in. Observe the transformation, not just outwardly, but within your innermost being. This is not a short phase. It's a lifetime of renewal. I'm making my abode with you. My spirit does not come and go. He rests here at this very moment. Invite him, walk with him, submit to him, and witness your most profound transformation begin. Child, everything you've discovered in these passages was never meant to spark you briefly, but to position your soul forever. I have spoken, not from afar, but from within. I have bared my heart, my perspective, my schedule, and my voice to you, so you'd no longer meander in shadows, but stand anchored in my light. This wasn't simply a speech. It was a deposit of my spirit. And now you bear it in your core, in your stance, in your identity, in your expression. You won't go backward to who you used to be. You step onward into who I have always known you to be. The shift you sense isn't some emotional surge. It signals the start of a redefined walk. Your heart is realigned, your mind has been purged, your spirit sharpened. Now you move, not as a riddle awaiting an answer, but as the solution I'm dispatching into the world. Do not belittle what I have stirred in you. What altered in concealment will bear fruit in the open. You may not witness all of it instantaneously, but you will sense it. You'll notice the changed ways you react, how your faith blooms where it once shrank, how your spirit quickly settles in my presence. That is the proof that these words took root. They didn't merely pass through. They remained. They have settled in you. Now I urge you to preserve them. The enemy wants this to be just another fleeting word you heard, but I intend it to be a defining moment, a clear demarcation, a before and after. So nurture what you've received. Stay quietly in my presence. Live in tune with my voice. Return to these words frequently. Let them feed you, remind you, reshape your thinking until what is true drowns out every falsehood once branding you. You now realize I see you, have always seen you. You now believe more firmly that I do respond to your lament, not merely with consolation but with lucid action. You now carry my truth at your core. You no longer cower. You no longer beg. You no longer implore me to come down, because you know I am already within. Live like it. Speak like it. Sing like it. Wait like it. Love like it. Your life has changed irreversibly. Even if your environment hasn't yet reflected it outwardly, the soil within has changed. That's where true transformation begins, from your interior outward. Now I propel you, not to achieve everything at once, but to take the next step bravely, the next statement, the next prayerful moment, the next act of trust. Accomplish it with me, and you will behold how my breath enlivens your yes, how I expand your faith, how I honor your submission. You are no longer who you were, and your new way of moving will show it. Today, I affirm that you are not unnoticed, you're not dismissed, you're not behind. You have heard my voice move through your shadows and breathe life into your broken places. Carry this truth with you into every dawn and watch how your world begins to shift. Return here whenever your faith needs igniting, for I will speak again in these moments of encounter. If this message stirred your spirit, subscribe now and ring the bell so you never miss the next revelation that will transform your heart. Join our family of believers, share your breakthrough in the comments, and come back ready for more divine encounters. Amen.